Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host. And if you've listened to our show before, you know that I started my business in December of 2018, and I was just hoping to make it as a Christian coach. My goal was to earn $60,000 my first year, and God provided beyond what I could have imagined. I collected over $250,000 in revenue, and I learned a lot of cool things along the way. And I've been helping Christian coaches ever since build their businesses and accomplish their entrepreneurial dreams in a high integrity, loving way that also is productive and is effective in the marketplace. And in this podcast, we're going to help you with your mindset around sales and money. We're going to help you with your business plans and your offers and your pricing, and we're going to help you with your sales strategy. Today, I've got a special guest, Jennifer Elia. Jennifer is sponsoring our conference, CCA Live, this summer. She's going to be speaking at the event. She's an amazing coach, an amazing person. She's a friend. She's in our community of Christian Coaches Academy. And Jennifer is a great marketer. She has done some really cool things in the marketing space, and she does things in a different way, which I love. Jennifer's the founder of Lead Funnel Scale, as a marketing strategist who helps businesses grow without getting caught up in the endless trends and gimmicks, which I love, because one of my pet peeves is how people try to act like they're the first person ever to do something, or their way's the only way, or the marketplace sometimes tells us that things have to be way more complex and complicated than they actually are. She helps people avoid all of that and move forward with simple, effective strategies. She's awesome. I'm super happy that she's here. Jennifer, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here too. And I like working with you because you don't buy into the gimmicks either.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I think that people get so overwhelmed, so confused, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes I think shut down because they think like if you pay attention online, a Christian coach these days, it feels like they need to have a book, a podcast, a YouTube channel. They need to be on Instagram. They need to be on Facebook. They need to be on LinkedIn. They need to be in your inboxes. They need to be running a Facebook group. They need to be commenting on other people's
Yes.
posts in their groups. They need to have a funnel that they're scaling. They probably need to have software around that funnel. They need to have 10 upsells and a few downsells, and they need to be marketing themselves on Instagram every single day, and they need to be on
Mm-hmm.
Clubhouse, and there's just so many things. They need an email newsletter, and sometimes these things, they just add up to feel
Mm-hmm.
almost impossible for a
Yes.
solopreneur. Tell us more about what you do and how you help newer coaches, solopreneurs actually have an effective marketing plan.
Yes. So there is so much pressure to do so many things, and it keeps growing because at one point there were 3 or 4 social media platforms, and they just keep growing. And every year there's this: you have to do this, you have to do that. And most of the people saying that already have 7 and 8 figure businesses. And so they're telling you this is the one key, but what they're not telling you is that 95% of what they're doing to make income isn't that one thing. They just know that you're desperate to build your business and you'll buy into whatever scheme they have. So what I do is I help businesses, first of all, get a grasp on where are you getting clients from and how can you get more clients that way. And then create an experience for your clients. So often in marketing, we focus on what's the algorithm on Facebook, what are people doing on YouTube, what's the hottest platform to be on. I've been told so many times you can't build a business without Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally don't like Instagram. I
Mm-hmm.
have to admit it. And I've tried it because I was like, well, everybody says, and I was like, no, this has done nothing for my business. And I have a successful business without having an Instagram account. So I'm going to just let that go. Um, but I help them really build that experience for their people and connect with them in a way that isn't fighting with the algorithms or keeping up with the trends or trying to be an influencer when really what you're doing is trying to be an authority. So create that online presence, build the trust, and then bring people on a journey through your business, because it is a journey. There are all different options of working with another person. There's ways that they can come in, there's experiences they can have, and even once they buy in as a client, you're still marketing to them. And if anything, that's the most effective, cost effective marketing you can do, because they already like you. So you need to just keep them liking you, and they will spend much more than constantly like, I need a million leads coming in through a pay per click ad.
Wow. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
I love the same thing that you're talking about, being an authority. That's something I actually talk to people about on sales calls as well. Just like, if you are the expert in what you do, and you don't have to be perfect, to be the
Yes.
expert, you just need, or the authority, you just need to be a couple steps ahead of where your ideal client is, and you need to be where they want to go. Then let's
Yes.
speak with an authority. Let's speak with confidence. And let's build trust by doing it authentically, which is so important. And you talked about creating an experience, which is also, it's, I just love this. You're making me feel very excited, because when marketing and sales kind of mesh up, it's the
Yes.
same thing I'm thinking about in sales, is that people need to experience something that prepares them to buy. And so
Yes.
we talk about like creating experience through the sales call, or creating experience through a workshop or a webinar, if that is what you were going to do. An experience that helps people understand what it's like to work with you, that builds trust and helps them begin the process of transformation so that they're ready to take the next step. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing in marketing. When we talked about the topic for this podcast and the topic you're going to be speaking about at our conference,
Yeah.
you shared it was building authority to algorithm proof your marketing, which I think is very interesting. And we all talk about the algorithms on Facebook and social media. Talk to me about what it means to algorithm proof your marketing.
Yes. So on social media, it used to be once a year they would update their algorithms and they would tell you what they're doing. And then everybody would be like, oh, this is what you need to do to rank on Facebook. Now they update them and they don't tell you. And then everyone's freaking out. Like on LinkedIn, there'll be endless posts about, I think they changed the algorithm. My views dropped. Um, and so we get so caught up in that. But really, the algorithm, first of all, can work for us, because if you're using the platform the way you're supposed to and you're showing up regularly, it will help you find new people. But more importantly than that, social media platforms come and go. And we can't base our entire business on a social media platform. That's the most dangerous thing you can do. There may be ones that will give you, like I can say LinkedIn is my sweet spot. I get clients very easily from there. However, I can't just plan on LinkedIn doing that for me. And so overall, I need to have an idea of how am I speaking to people? How am I creating authority apart from what the social media platforms are looking for? Because they are businesses themselves. So when they get you to dance, literally sometimes, then they make money. It doesn't, in the long run, it does very little for your business. And so while having a social media presence is important in 2025, because that's how you connect with people, that's where people go to look for you. When they want to find out more about you, they want to look at your Facebook profile or your LinkedIn profile. That can't be your whole business plan. And it isn't really a marketing plan, it's a vehicle. And really, it's the smallest part of your marketing plan, because it's more about reaching people where they are. And I say everybody's ideal client is frustrated, overwhelmed, and tired, right? It doesn't matter if you're selling a vacuum cleaner or you're selling a $50,000 coaching program. That's where they are, and that's why they're looking for a solution. The problem is that if you just leave them there and are busy chasing trends, or just trying to keep up with the Joneses on Facebook, then they can't make the decision to work with you. You need to show up as an authority and teach them and build trust so that you can empower them to make that decision. It's like that little step that you give them. When they say you need to provide value, that's the value you need to provide. This way they can take that next step. Like, you raise them up enough that now they can climb the ladder. And that will transcend any kind of changes with the algorithm, because if you just continue to show up and share and know your people so well that you know how to speak to them, it doesn't matter if Twitter, well, no, Twitter's X, but TikTok goes away, Facebook goes away, LinkedIn goes away. They could all go away. In the end, if you know how to connect with people and you've built that network and you know how to reach out and show up as an authority, you will find another way to do it. It isn't, nobody wants that to happen. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't know how to do that, then you are very much subject to an algorithm change could tank your entire business. And nobody wants to be in that position.
That's so true. Well, one of the things that you said that I think people are going to like is that social media can be the smallest part of your marketing plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we've got some listeners who love social media, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a passion for them, and they love showing up there as an authority and an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
They do it really well. And I know that we've also got a lot of coaches in our community and who listen to this podcast who are intimidated by social media, or who
Yes.
don't love social media and don't want to spend all their time there. And so it's encouraging to know that there are other ways. And what
Yes.
I've experienced is there are so many different ways. And
Mm-hmm.
the coaches who say there's only one way, you
Yes.
have to do this, are totally wrong. You don't need
Yes.
Instagram. It's one of the ways.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is one of the ways. LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
is one of the ways. YouTube is one of the ways. Your podcast is one of the ways.
Yes.
Speaking on like actual stages or other people's podcasts or at virtual telesummits are some of the ways.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm receiving from you is we need to know how to get our messaging right on what we do and what problem we solve for our most ideal client,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can communicate it wherever we are, with our voice, on video, in the written word, on stage. And if we know how to communicate to our ideal client in a way that builds trust and helps solve their problem, then we can do that wherever it is
Yes.
that our clients are hanging out, whether it's social media or on a YouTube channel or in person or
Mm-hmm.
at an event or whatever else it is that we're doing. That's what you're saying?
Yes, definitely.
Good. That's really good. I love it. Okay, so give us one more. If somebody's listening to this podcast and they're like, okay, I like what I'm hearing. Jennifer's telling me I don't need to panic about Instagram. I don't need to be all on social media. There are other ways. And even if I'm going to use social media, it can be a small part of my plan. If someone's listening to this and they're
Mm-hmm.
a solopreneur and they're running their business by themselves and they're just wanting to take a leap forward in their marketing so that they can more easily attract their ideal client, can you give us just one or two keys of things that they can do right away to build more trust, to be more of an authority, and to make it easier for the right people to find them?
Yes, I would say, first of all, know very deeply where your people are, and it isn't necessarily where everyone's telling you that they are. So that is the first thing. Like, there are niches of people that never go onto social media. There are niches of people that won't watch a video. And there are niches of people that like to read really long posts. So know where your people are and really what they want. That is the biggest thing, because they're going to want that no matter what's going on in the rest of the online world. The second thing is really to not just think, this is what I need to tell them, or this is what I want to share, or this is all the things that I know. But think back to what made you start this business. And for 99% of us, it's because we somehow were that client 5 to 10, 15 years ago. And we figured out what worked. And we said, you know what, I want to save other people from going through this. And so put yourself in that position and think, like, what do I most need to hear? But also, what was I afraid to ask when I was in that position? Because all of us have questions that we're afraid to ask. And they say, no question is a dumb question. But still, when you're in a position, like, let's say you're building a business or you're in a group, you don't want to be the one person that doesn't know what such and such is. Or how to do something. You want to come off as you know what you're doing. And we do need to do that. We do need to, show up with authority and show that we know what we're doing, but none of us knows everything. And so if you can focus in on what are those questions that your people are afraid to ask and need someone to say, hey, this is the answer, then you automatically connect with them and just find a way to get that information in front of them, whether it's in print or an online magazine, social media. I would suggest being multiple places, because putting all your eggs in one basket is dangerous. But really figure out, how can you deliver that to them, and where are they consuming that kind of information?
So good. Okay, so knowing where your people are, and I'm hearing kind of the second part to that, and not just like only choosing one place, because no one's ideal target audience is only one place. So knowing where your people are, but kind of trying to have at least a couple different ways you reach your people. And then the second thing is remembering why you started doing this. And the truth for almost all coaches, and if this isn't true for you yet and you're struggling, maybe this should be more true. Maybe we want to reconsider your target audience and your mission statement and what you're doing. But for most of us, our ideal client is who we were a few years ago, a couple decades ago. At some point, we've had the same shared challenges, fears, flaws, failures, anxieties, etc., as our ideal client. I think about myself. Like, I remember what it was like to be a new coach, wanting to launch my coaching business and feeling scared, not sure if I was good enough, wondering if I had the right strategies, and wanting to move forward. And so fun now to help other coaches develop the confidence they need to know that they can do it. And so that's so valuable. And asking of the questions, of course, giving them the value, the training that you needed when you were back at the beginning, but then also asking the questions that you were afraid to ask. That's very, very interesting. So if you're listening to this podcast episode, I'm going to encourage you, go ahead and click pause even now and write this down. What question did I need answered? And what was I afraid to ask? So if you're a marriage coach and you're thinking about back when you were just gonna get married, you were engaged, like, what questions should you have asked? But that felt scary to ask. Or if you're a health coach, what question did you need answered? If you're a business coach, what was the struggle that you should have brought up and you wish you had a mentor who could put their arm around you and help you out with it? And ask that or answer that question for people. I think that's super, super cool. It makes me think of something that came up in the conference I was at a couple weeks ago, which is this idea that, like, if you wanted to like check on your SEO, if you type in what you would want people to type in on Google to find you, like if I typed in sales for Christian coaches, then Google spits out a bunch of other questions that people ask. That they're oftentimes afraid to ask out loud. It says people also ask, and there's like 5 questions or 6 questions. And whenever I go to Google and I see that people also ask questions, sometimes they're worded in a way that's kind of funny, or they seem kind of silly because probably people are typing them in obviously a lot. And they're the kind of question that sounds a little silly out loud, but is really important. So that might be another way to find the questions that your ideal audience is asking, by asking the question you know they're asking and seeing what else Google spews out. But what a great strategy to answer those questions. Thank you for that. Jennifer, you've been in business for a while and you've had a lot of successes. What are your 1 to 3 sales strategies that you recommend that make sales easier for a coach or entrepreneur?
I would say, first of all, as I said, build the trust and authority before you meet with people. Don't just go out and expect people to come into your world and want to buy from you. I found that the best people that I've connected with are people that have followed me for a while and know who I am and what my story is. And so now they're ready to sit down and actually have a conversation about it. And I would say those are the best sales calls. When you have someone show up and they know nothing about you and they are just really cold, no matter how much they really need you, you're going to have to work so much harder because you're starting at deficit. They don't know or trust you. And a lot of it, they're probably thinking like, I wonder how much the other guy I'm going to meet with is going to charge me. I think the second thing is really listen to people. I know you talk about this too. I ask a lot of questions. I didn't realize I asked a lot of questions until some of my clients started saying, you ask a lot of questions. And the first time someone said that, I was like, I'm sorry. They're like, no, it's good because most people don't ask questions. They just do. And then I don't get what I want. And I think that needs to start in the beginning at the sales process, is asking questions and really understanding what they're trying to say to you and giving them time to talk about it. You may have an idea, but if they start to talk and you're starting to talk, always let them go. Say, no, you go and I'll tell you later, because you want to hear what they have to say. You don't want to dominate the conversation. And the third thing I would say is, I've been saying this to my clients a lot, because you were talking about the 10 upsells and the 10 downsells and this whole myriad of offers, and that gets really overwhelming. And sometimes we get stuck in that I need this offer thing, right? And it needs to be perfect. But I saw a meme recently that summed up everything I've been trying to teach my clients. It said, instead of being a chef in a sales call, be a doctor. So instead of going through and saying, okay, we're going to look at the Chinese menu, and pick 1 from column A and 2 from column B, and this is what I offer, and trying to shove them into it, listen to what they need. You know what you can provide, and now put together something that works for them. And for some of that, it is program, like CCA is a program. And for other times, it's like, you don't need this piece or this piece, but we could really work together on this, and that's going to help both of us.
So good. What I really love about listening to you, Jennifer, is you make things feel very light and easy. And it's one of my
Thank you.
values. Like, I don't want it to feel so heavy and so complicated. And I want to remind our listeners that you're the only person who's going to be in your program forever. And if
Yes.
you got to design a program and a business plan that you want to execute, that's fun for
Yes.
you. I think your marketing should be fun. I think sales, when done right, should be fun. I think fulfillment of your program should feel fun, like, and light and easy to a certain degree. Of course, there's challenges. Business and being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. There are going to be hard days, and we're going to have to work. But ultimately, if we design it the right way, it should feel pretty natural and pretty easy for most of us. And I just feel that from you so much, that
Thank
we
you.
can do our marketing in a really effective way, but one that also feels a lot lighter and easier. Okay, so if people have been listening to you and they want to take the next step and learn more about you, you're going to be speaking at our conference.
Yes.
And I want all of our listeners, come to the conference, come to CCA Live 2025. Jennifer's going to be speaking at the event. She's going to go a lot deeper on building authority to algorithm proof your marketing. And you can sign up for the conference at www.f2itribe.com/CCA Live. Jennifer, how else can they get in touch with you now if they want to take the next step?
Well, you can contact me on my website, leadfunnelscale.com, or on Facebook or LinkedIn. I am on other platforms, but that's the easiest place to reach me. Facebook at Jennifer and Elia, or at Lead Funnel Scale. And on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/Jennifer Elia.
Awesome. So you can search Jennifer Elia. You can go to leadfunnelscale.com and you should meet her in person. Take a picture with her. Hear her speak at the conference. She'll be there all 3 days. It's going to be fun. Come join us at CCA Live 2025. Jennifer, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. We'll see everybody next week. God bless you all.